Hello everyone, I'm Joey. There are always some properties on the market with prices that look especially tempting, making you wonder if the seller is desperate or if you're about to score a huge bargain. But as a buyer's agent, I have to pour some cold water on that idea. In the Australian real estate market, price is usually the most honest reflection of value. So today, I've reorganized the 7 biggest pitfalls that are easiest to fall into when buying property in Australia. These 7 types of properties, not only are they uncomfortable to live in if you buy them for your own use, and when you want to sell them in the future, even the bank might not be willing to give the next buyer a loan. If you don't want your property to lose value in a few years, you definitely need to watch this video to the end. The first type is properties with historical baggage, also known as heritage overlay or heritage protection. Many beginners think that old houses have character, but from an investment return, ROI perspective, these are often the ceiling for asset appreciation. Why is that? Because the maximum value of the land can only be realized through knockdown and rebuild or redevelopment on the original site. When we talk about maximizing land value, it usually comes from tearing down the old house and building 3 to 4 new ones, or even more, to create greater value. However, once your house is designated as having a heritage overlay, not only can you not demolish it, but even changing the color of the exterior walls or repairing a broken window on the facade requires multiple layers of approval from the council. You think you're buying nostalgia, but in reality, you're buying an untouchable ancestral relic. The second point is about 3 major geographical flaws. Let me tell you, I classify all 3 as hard defect properties, which are B grade or even C grade assets, basically assets you should not consider at all. First, proximity to main roads. Only properties convertible to commercial use are worth buying. Unless there is renovation potential, buying near a main road is a bad idea, even at a bargain. Noise is superficial. The core problem is liquidity. It's very poor because if you want to sell the house in the future, you'll immediately lose half of the potential buyers who are looking for a home to live in. Families with children simply won't consider it. Now, the second point is about road impact. Don't think that only Chinese people care about feng shui. Locals are also wary of houses facing directly onto a road. What does this mean? It means car headlights shine straight into the house. Braking, if a car's brakes fail, the safety risk will cause your house to face a significant discount when you try to sell it again. The third point is a steep slope. It may look like you have a great view, but when it comes time to build or renovate, you'll definitely regret it. Why? Because you'll need to construct something called a retaining wall and implement special drainage solutions, both of which are extremely expensive. These hidden dangers are like ticking time bombs. For example, if you need to build a retaining wall 1 meter high, it will cost at least 5,000 Australian dollars. Now, the third point is actually a hidden killer of land control rights called an easement. An easement in a bad location. When you're buying a house, you can't, or rather you shouldn't, just look at what restrictions are on your deed or your title. You need to pay even more attention to what's underneath the property. For example, if there's a sewage pipe or a stormwater pipe, if it happens to run right through the middle of your property, not to mention the development potential of your land, it basically drops to 0. And the water authority, in order to repair the pipes, even has the right to split your house in half. So before you buy a house, you must have your lawyer investigate thoroughly. Of course, a piece of land with absolutely no easement isn't necessarily a good thing either. If you want to build a granny flat in the backyard or dig a swimming pool, you might find there's nowhere for your water to drain. The fourth point is the often overlooked cash flow black hole. What does that mean? Many people, when buying a house for the first time, are drawn to properties surrounded by towering trees, thinking it offers great privacy and a natural backyard feel. But as a homeowner, this actually means you'll face high additional holding costs. Why is that? Because a large amount of fallen leaves can clog your roof, causing rainwater to back up into the ceiling. This is a major cause of leaks in older homes. Secondly, there's structural damage. The growth of tree roots can silently damage your underground pipes and even compromise your foundation. The third point is protection restrictions. In Australia, no matter which city you're in, the protection of native trees is extremely strict, and the regulations can vary by area. There are even additional protections for non-native trees. In the future, this tree could become the biggest obstacle if you want to subdivide your land. The fifth point is not just about feng shui, but also about functional flaws. What do we mean by a bizarre layout? There's a reason why some houses are cheap, because their functionality is basically a death sentence. For example, a 2-story house where there's no bathroom on the first floor and there's no way to add a toilet anywhere nearby. Or for example, you have to go around an outdoor garden just to use the bathroom. This is why younger buyers nowadays are paying more and more attention to the flow of living spaces. If you buy a house like this and want to improve the layout in the future, it might involve altering load-bearing walls, and the renovation costs will be extremely high. As someone in the industry, I can tell you very clearly that this is absolutely not worth it. If you want to tear down a load-bearing wall, you'll need a building permit or official approval. Just making changes like that will cost at least 50 to 80,000 Australian dollars. Now, the sixth point is a hard flaw from a data perspective. Many people check this and that, but they don't check the proportion of public housing. I want to emphasize that I mean no discrimination here. We're purely looking at the data. You can check the data yourself. In neighborhoods where the proportion of public housing exceeds 10%, the capital appreciation rate over the past 10 years has underperformed the market average. And most importantly, banks tend to be conservative in their evaluations of these areas. Combined with uncertainties like community safety and street cleanliness, betting on a community's transformation just for a slightly cheaper house price is too risky for prudent investors. The seventh point is the risk of an asset becoming worthless, also known as being in a flood zone or near a creek. What looks like a beautiful creek can turn into a drainage ditch during heavy rain. The fundamental flaw of these houses is the loss of their financial attributes. First, the insurance premiums are extremely high, and you might even be denied coverage. Second, and even more concerning, is that your future buyer may not be able to get a mortgage. When a house loses its financial leverage, its value is significantly diminished. So, for these 7 types of houses, no matter how much the agent hypes them up or how low the price is, I still recommend you steer clear. As investors, what we pursue is certainty and appreciation potential, not filling in pitfalls. If you're unsure whether a house has hidden issues when viewing it, feel free to reach out to me for a one-on-one consultation. I'm Joey, here to help you buy the right home with data. See you next time.